back in Pennsylvania, where there was literally a tornado last night that knocked down trees across the entire area. I mean, look at that. The entire area has trees down everywhere. There's streets blocked off. I mean, I like the smell of fresh cut wood, but this is a little far. I mean, I expected this from like Oklahoma or Kansas, but Allentown, Pennsylvania, not what I expected. But I survived, we made it, and now we get to go check out Dan's sound room in Allentown, Pennsylvania, where we can get out of the disaster area. This is gonna take a while to clean up. The entire area was affected by this storm, including the street in front of Dan's sound room and his yard. I mean, there's his sign laying on the ground under branches, but that's not going to stop us from checking out some great vintage hi-fi, because not only did I have a great time at Dan's sound room, but his entire family had a blast. The first room, Dan was showing off this Pioneer timer, the DT400, and underneath of it the CTF900 cassette deck with the door that holds the cassettes in and stops the dust from hitting the tape heads. You have a Sansui AU717 amp, and on the side the bag of original caps to show that he has serviced it. He has an entire service center built into his house for his store. Now down here we have one of the best looking crowns I've ever seen. It's the OC150. Now a lot of the crowns look like that bulky, almost junky feel. This one definitely did not. Underneath you have a Krell, the home theater standard. I'm not as familiar with that model of the Krell, just like I'm not too familiar with this Power Block 3 from Tice. They were a company out of Florida back in the 90s. I'm not sure if they're still around. They may be, but I love how they have the analog meter. Just like on this Monster power supply, I love how instead of the digital readout that you see all the time, they decided to go with an analog one. I do like that for sure. It gives it that vintage touch. Going over here, you have the Cambridge, but underneath, look at this Bogan. This Bogan has like this green look, which I really enjoy. So for a tube amp, you know, not the most bulky or good looking amp. It's very basic, it's vintage, very vintage, but that green look is incredible. The Cambridge amp you have here is a little more plain looking, but it is a monster amp. I mean, you can see just the pure size of that. And on top you have this Accuphase preamp, the C200. It's an amazing preamp. I love how the front of it like comes down and there's all these controls underneath, but you can put the front back up so that you can't see them. Going back to the Cambridge, this is one of their bigger amps that they made. So just pulling out, you can see all the ventilation holes on top. And if you look at the back, it's built as like two mono blocks would be in one amp. So it separates both channels completely. You know, Cambridge has been making really nice stuff for an awful long time. I love all their new products, and that one doesn't disappoint either. But on top of that Accuphase is the Mac 1900. These Mac receivers were made by Macintosh. Macintosh did not want to reveal that they were actually making receivers. They wanted to be known as a company that only made separate components, so they changed the name to Mac. These are highly sought after no matter what the model is. The Mac receivers are incredible sounding warm receivers that just look stunning. Much like a lot of the other Macintosh products like this MX113, they're just so hard to film. This Pioneer PL A35 on top is a beautiful turntable. The wood's in great shape, the logo's still in great shape. But Dan has something to show us now, so let's check out this.
What an amp.
Oh, what is that? I gotcha.
There it is on the back.
Newcomb Audio Products.
This baby is so smooth sounding. It sounds like a Mac amp.
Does it have a year on it? No.
Slide it like a 50.
Yeah. That is
Beautiful
wild.
shape, too. Bass, treble.
Yeah.
See, there's a lot of stuff that's like this age that people just don't know about because, like, you know, I mean, Newcomb's a brand that some people have heard of, but most people have not. Most people haven't heard of that. So they would never know what it is or what it even does. I mean, just by looking at it, people might be, I don't know what that is, I'm going to pass that by, but they shouldn't.
Well, they actually made these for bands, you know, originally, because it has the
it has the mic inputs. Yeah, it has XLRs right there. That's
you
wild.
run a CD through this, it sounds darn good. Huh. Yeah.
Wow. All right, what other cool pieces you got? You're finding the crazy stuff. Oh wow. It's a bell.
Yep.
And what is that? See, I don't even know what that is.
This is like a PA amp too, but you can run a CD music through it. Look at the dials.
Oh wow. It's like little clocks. Look, they're just screws. They're screws with little hands on them.
Things going like 50 miles an hour.
Wow.
And it works. It works. Yeah.
It's a CL6.
Conrad Johnson.
This is the VAC. The Macintosh MC7205. It's like the amp where it has a center channel, but you can totally use it for a 2-channel amp.
Yep. Yeah, stereo. Yeah.
9090 dB.
That's all ready to go. You have one at that.
Yep. MC2125. Those are real nice without being too giant. Some of the other ones are just way too big.
Yep.
SAE Tuner Mark 8. That's cool. It has
needs a bell.
It has meters in the front.
Yeah, we'll hold it up. Show you. It needs a bell right on the drive shaft here.
Oh, there's a belt on the tuner?
Yeah.
So you change it, and that changes the digital part of the tuner.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't. The flywheel changes it.
You need the bell on there, and then the flywheel will change.
Oh, so when you turn
That's the tuner. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, a little rubber thing.
Yeah, so that's what changes.
Yep, the frequency. Yep.
That's wild.
Something different, huh?
It is different, yeah.
Yep.
Now, the second room Dan was filled with amazing equipment. Now, he's just moving in when I was there filming, so everything's a little out of place. But you have reel-to-reels like this giant Akai Quad GX 400D. And it has those blue meters that Akai put on it, which is just an amazing feature that a lot of other brands don't have. Over here, you have a Pioneer 1020 reel-to-reel. The RT1020. I love the way they look. They're meant to go with the Spec series or the SX50 series back in that like mid 1970s. And I love the original reel, how Pioneer made those a little more detailed. You can see a little more tape. And underneath you have the Dynakit Mark IIIs as your excellent mono blocks from Dynaco. Then over here you have the Macintosh 2100. That's a 105 watt per channel amp, and it's beautiful. I mean, this one's in really good shape. I'm not pulling it out to show you more because it's way too heavy. There's the original manual so you can see what it looks like on the side. Over here you have a Sansui 771, some ADCOM equipment. Oh, I love these Kenwood. This is the KR3090 right there. Just amazing receivers from Kenwood. Now, Dan's been around a lot longer than I am. That's why he knows about these, and I have absolutely no clue. But what I do know about is JBLs, and these are some nice looking JBLs. They have the glass top, so you can put your plants, you can put your drinks, whatever you want to put on top, you can do that. These are the L55s from JBL. They resemble the Alltech Santanas to me, but I love how they have the logo on top. JBL made so many different speakers, it's hard for me to keep up with all the different designs. And talking about good speakers, Sherwin Vegas are getting way harder to find nowadays. Everybody loves these things. Then you got the Sansui TU717 tuner, which matches the amp we looked at earlier. You got a pair of vintage Stax Lam Danovas headphones that, you know, I don't use a lot of headphones, but Stax is a great brand. Look at this Victor, that is cool looking. Kenwood, some of the best made integrated amps you can find on the market. Any of the ones with the volume knob right there in the center are just absolutely incredible. And then these Infinity speakers right here are just fantastic. A lot of these over time, they need to be refoamed, but these have been done. If you ever see a pair of Emit tweeters on anything, you know, pick them up. Those Infinities are fantastic. These are the CS3009. Now in the main listening room, he had a pair of monoblock G9 tube amps. G9 is a company that was born out of Moscow, Russia in like early 2012. And all these have really nice KT150 tubes in them. Now I'm not gonna act like I know anything else really about this brand. He said it's very warm sounding, and I do know that they're all like meticulously handmade. So, you know, that's pretty cool. I'm sure they sound excellent. They look really nice, I think. But the KT150 tubes are the ones that he was saying were just really, really nice tubes for these amps. Again, I'm not an expert on any of those. I am an expert more on these Akai reel-to-reels. And oddly enough, my favorite part of this is the original Akai reel that's on it. I love the way Akai put their logo into the reel, and the glass heads will make these reels last forever. All of Dan's rooms were just filled with components. I can't wait to come back once he's got everything put back together the way it's supposed to look in here. You have the SAE 1800 parametric EQ. This is actually one you do not see every day at all. They're actually very rare. The SAE collectors love them, and it's pretty hard to get your hands on one of those. Now, Dan's equipment changes all the time, just like a lot of vintage audio shops, but of course you're always going to have receivers like this Marantz 2245, and then like an integrated amp like the Marantz 1180. This is a really cool piece. Like if I was to get one, that's probably the one that I would choose out of most of what I saw, because I love the way they look and sound. The Marantz integrated amps are just absolutely incredible stuff, just like these JBLs. So these are the JBL L26s, and the cool thing about these is I've actually took a pair of JBL Primas, which are a different version of this that actually have stacked cases that you can build. The theory was you could build an entire room around them and stack them, put components on the inside, and make like a mid-century modern look, or what was in during the 70s. So these are the exact same speakers. I completely remodeled them, got new badges, put the badges on the Primas, because once you pull those badges off, you're done. Like there's no way of fixing them. I actually found a guy that did badges, and I don't know what happened to him. So if you guys know how to get in touch with him, that would be a cool guy to let everybody know about, because he made them look like brand new. Just like this Pioneer SX535 looks. I mean, that looks pretty brand new. You got the CTF 9191. This is one of the best looking and probably best sounding cassette decks from Pioneer, but you can't fix them very well, so I usually stay away from those. The SX737, fantastic 1974 Pioneer receiver, has the blue glow like we saw earlier. And then you got more of those emit tweeters from Infinity. Now these are extremely popular. You got the Polydome mid-range, which is cool. I love how they put that like dome around the metal dome of that speaker. You got a dual 1229 turntable right here, and then this Bose sign, like I saw this and this was one of the best things I saw all day. I love any kind of vintage signage. It lights up from the back, and I'm not completely sure what year it was or if anything's been modded, but man, it is cool to see stuff like that. Now, one of the custom projects that Dan's son was actually working on was redoing a pair of JBL L300s, making them a little more custom, but with all original parts. So there were some very rare JBL parts inside these original parts. Heavy duty. Dude, that magnet was so heavy. But all original. You got the magnet, we got the driver over here working on replacing the dust cap, but it's an LE15A. Dan also had this really cool Beatles framed commemorative gold record. Now, you know, there's no certificate of authenticity or if this was an original or whatnot, but it was really cool to look at. You kind of just got drawn into it because of the gold records. So, hey, you know, whether it's original or not, I don't really care. It was really a cool piece. What is this?
An organ amp.
Out of an organ?
Yeah, but they make good. Get a
So you can use a lot of pro stuff as home amps too. Like that's an okay thing to do.
Right.
Wow. Is there a brand on that?
No.
Nope.
It's a no name.
It's a no name out of an organ, but it sounds good.
It could be a Hammond or an Allen organ. I don't know.
That's the secret, is to find something like that.
Nice.
See, that's made really well. Look how well that's made. Point-to-point wiring right there at its finest. Yeah, look at the size of that.
Look at that.
Oh, there's some right. Yeah.
Out right now, Bert.
Oh man.
Wow. So we lined up to take a group photo, but I accidentally had it on video mode.
Hey, what's better than hot rods?
Hey!
Stereo gear. Stereo gear. Stereo. Good stuff from the 70s. We like it.